Welcome back to episode 22 of the Grit Code Podcast, a place where we decode the steps to success on and off the field. I'm 11-year NFL veteran, three-time Pro Bowler Donte Whitner, alongside Bay Area TV and radio analyst Rod Brooks. And today we have a special guest. And our first guest is someone that needs no introduction. But he deserves a proper one. And to be clear, this is the first guest in the history of the Grit Code Podcast. Our guest is a 10-year NFL veteran, former NFL safety, two-time Pro Bowler, first-team All-Pro, a player whose presence not only changed how offenses lined up, but how the league rewrote the rules. I'm proud to welcome my former teammate and brother, Dashon Goldson, to the Grit Code Podcast.
What's up? What's up, y'all? Appreciate that introduction, man.
Absolutely. And it's warranted. And we'll get into the first question.
Let's do it.
Before all the Pro Bowls, before the big hits, before the people knew your name, who was Dashon Goldson, and where did that edge come from?
I mean, I was just a young kid, man, in the neighborhood, running around, just having fun and working on my identity. I bounced around a lot, living in LA. Went to a bunch of different schools. Man, lived in a bunch of different communities. And it was just one community, man, that I felt that I found my niche. Because, I got out of certain things, hanging out with certain people, and got into this football thing, and it kind of turned my life around.
And man, it sounded like that's the way you took out your anger. The reason I started to play football is because I was angry that my father wasn't there. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know it at the time, but I found a way to take out my anger. So there was a drill called hoot and holler. Mm-hmm. And you lay on your back, one person has the football, whoever gets up the fastest is going to get the biggest hit.
Right.
When I was introduced to that fucking drill, that shit changed my life. I found a way to let my anger out. So it sounds like we have a correlative relationship with the game of football with that.
Man, definitely. The same way that you got introduced in that game, man. I grew up living across the street from this park. I think I was probably like 10 at the time, 10. And my birthday's in September. So my mom I just asked my parents for $100 $100 for my birthday. So I used to go across the street at this park, and this football team used to practice over there. And we used to play this game called Shamir to, throw up tackle. Some people call it throw up tackle. Whoever has the ball, get tackled. Yeah. And that's how I got, introduced to the sport. So I was playing with these dudes that had practice before practice started. And I was just over there, running the ball back, because you play on the opposite sides of the end zone's on the opposite side of the park. So whoever got the ball, you got to run to the opposite side. You got to keep running until you get tackled. And then once you get tackled, you just throw the ball up. Whoever get it, then you go after him. So, I just had the ball for so long, and I'm running back and forth. And then when I finally got tackled, man, I was out there laying cats out. And the coach was out there watching. I was like, hey, man, who you play for? You play? Who division you play for? I was like, man, I don't play. I just live across the street. He was like, man, you want to play? I was like, yeah, but I don't know. My mom ain't going to let me play no football. I was like, how much is it? He was like, $100. He said, $100, I'll be right back. Went across the street, grabbed that $100, man, and signed myself up. But that's how I got introduced to the game of football, was through that me living across the street from that park and taking that little $100 that I asked for to sign myself up. And that $100 took me a long way.
It's crazy because that seems like destiny. And when I think about the way that I started playing football, I was hit by a car when I was 6 years old. Mm-hmm. And I broke over 25 bones all the way up to my chest cage. So I was in a wheelchair and a red wagon for about a good 4 months, middle of the summer. And I used to see guys right up and down the street with their football pants on going to practice. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, I remember as a kid, I'm like, man, when I'm healthy, I'm signing myself up to play football. Oh. Fast forward 2 years from that, I follow him up there. I signed myself up for football. I forged my mother's signature, hid my football equipment, and that was destiny. Because nobody else was going to give me that opportunity.
Same, bro. And look, you came back stronger than ever, bro. Like, you remember that movie Rookie of the Year when that quarterback, that pitcher broke his arm and came back? That's how we came back, fast as hell and strong.
Absolutely, right. Able to dunk. I was able to dunk at like 12 years old, at like 5'8". It was like, man, how the hell you do that? Like the bionic man.
For real.
I love that I love that $100 investment, Dashon, you made in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And D, I love you saying, all right, if I got to forge this signature and maybe catch hell on the back end, I'm going to do it. That sort of just internal desire of I got to make this decision, and making this
Right.
decision as kids like that. That's what's crazy to me. Like you're
Right.
9 years old, Dashon. D, you're not even a teenager yet, and you making a grown man decision that's going to
Facts.
affect the rest of your life as a kid. Dashon, I'm always fascinated by you LA cats and how you guys grew up,
Mm-hmm.
especially 80s, 90s, crack era still hitting, gangs still popping. For you LA cats to navigate through all that and making grown man decisions, making life or death decisions seemingly on a daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
to go and play a game, to go and play football. Take us through that, man, because you guys had to navigate a minefield on a daily basis.
Well, definitely, man. I felt like you said, like a lot of us was forced to grow up kind of early. You know what I'm saying, or fast. For the simple fact that some people come from single parent homes. Um, some parents wasn't as strict, and I say that mine. I don't feel like my parents wasn't as strict, but they was good parents. It was the fact they trusted us. Like we were outside, we would always come home, obviously, and they know where we were at times. But sometimes we'll be out on a school day to about 10, 11 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? But just hanging around playing, doing not necessarily bad things all the time, but just being around other kids and playing football, just being outside, riding bikes, sometimes hit licks in grocery stores, grabbing a bag of chips or some candy or something like that. But I felt like just growing up in certain areas forced us to be mature a lot faster than some kids, especially in this day and age. You know.
Yeah.
And growing up in those areas, D,
Mhm.
how did you not get caught up in the gang culture? Because I can close my eyes right now and you sound fucking identical to Nipsey Hussle.
Man, shit, man.
Same verbiage, same pace, same tone. A lot of those guys went into the gang culture. How did you evade it?
Man, well, rest in peace to him, man. Rest in peace to Nip. But definitely, with answer your question, honestly, man, I got around a lot of people that I did. Uh, I was hanging around with, and it was just like a cycle with them. Though it was like the same thing. We used to go hang out, just do stupid stuff, whether it's take bikes, go to grocery stores, like whatever, just doing kid stuff. And it was just like I got tired of that simple fact, and they was going in and out of juvenile hall, and it came to a point I had made a mistake in my life when I was young, and my mom had to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of like got me to open my eyes and like, man, what is you doing, bro? Like, you need to chill out, and you can definitely do something and change your whole family's life. On top of that, like I remember getting in trouble, and my boys had a pocket full of money. Parents gave me some money to go school shopping one time, and I never told the story to nobody. Parents gave me some money to go school shopping one time, but we took it upon ourselves to go steal. We thought it was cool. Like we went, Sports Chalet at the time. Sports Chalet was still going on. It was open. Went to go steal a bunch of Under Armour stuff, wristbands, socks for our games. And we remember one go to the mall when Fat Farm was popping. We got stealing Fat Farm, Jabot jeans, and we ended up getting cracked at the end of that day doing something stupid. We ran out on Denny's, and that's how we got busted. I had money though. I had money to pay for it, but then ended up getting in trouble. And then they had this program where we had to go every Wednesday from like 5 to 8 o'clock at night, bro. Your parents had to be there with you. And if your parents didn't come, you didn't get credit for it or something. They had to keep going. So I had to take time. My mom had to take time out her busy schedule, whatever the case is, to pay for something that I did. You know what I'm saying? Or else I was gonna have to go to juvenile or whatever the case was. So just when that happened, I was just like, bro. And at the time I was playing football, I was good. You know what I'm saying? I was good. I had, parents, families coming up to me after games and coming to watch me play on Friday nights. And it was like, bro, I was doing stupid stuff to get myself in trouble and put my mom through something that, she didn't really deserve. So it kind of turned my life around a little bit when that came, when that happened. Opened my eyes to a lot, and I had to just buckle down, bro, and start taking shit serious.
And it was like, yeah, one decision can change the entire trajectory of where your life is going. And I have a similar situation when I was a 10th grader. playing on the varsity basketball team, we had a guy on our team named Chris Charlton. He lived up the street, maybe about a mile and a half away in our rivals community. He calls one of the guys on the basketball team and tell him, hey man, these guys outside my house, they won't let me come to practice. Our dumbasses jump in the car. We go to the situation. 8 or 9 of them run. They catch one of the boys, and damn near murdered him. We all had attempted murder charges. The next morning, I came to school, and you know how they have the PA system, urgent in the morning, urgent, urgent, emergency. We need the following names to report to the principal's office immediately. I'm like, oh shit. I was thinking about this all night. I'm like, we in trouble.
Straight up.
They get through all the names. You know how my name is Whitner is last.
Ice lad, yeah.
And Donte Whitner. I'm like, oh shit. I walk into the principal's office. Immediately upon walking in there, they handcuffed everybody. The mother and the father crying, the sisters crying. They damn near killed this boy. Have you ever seen somebody get suplex and their shoulders are like folding, like a folding chair?
Mm-hmm.
That's how they did them. And the only reason I was able to get out of it because my name was misspelled on the docket. 4 out of the 8 guys did actual time, 5 years in prison.
Ooh.
The other 4 had probation, and I was the only one that got off because my name was significantly misspelled. So for kids out there listening, it only take one bad decision, and even though I didn't touch anybody, I was about to go down and my career thrown away early on, 10th grade, because I was being a follower. So I associate with that story right there, and that scared me straight for sure.
Man, for sure, definitely, man. And another cat, man. When I started bouncing around, I got into this neighborhood, man. I had met this friend, and he was dope at football, bro. And I looked up to him. I used to go to his games when he was older. I was still in middle school at the time, probably. I used to be the ball boy for his football teams when he was in high school. He was dope, man. He was his dad. He came from a complete family home, like his mom and dad. His dad was in the picture. They both was, working family, and his dad was just present, like always took him out to go work him out, and was just always there. And I just admired that, bro. I used to always go to his house on the weekends and chill, and that kind of helped me too. That man, his dad used to always like, man, you need to stop hanging around with those cats. His dad was a known banger, OG though. And he was like, man, you need to stop hanging around with them cats, man. You ain't gonna go nowhere. You need to go ahead and buckle down and woo, woo, woo. He used to just give me game, and I just took that, bro, and just ran with it.
The hardest thing for young folks, for kids to do, is to realize not just what you need to do, what you should do, but also what not to do. And like hearing both of y'all's stories to come to those realizations, whether it's Donte, you getting scared straight, or you, Dashon, you seeing like, okay, I'm moving in the wrong direction, and you got busted, but I'm moving in the wrong direction, but I can see the other side if I just go a different way. Again, just those grown man adult decisions y'all making as teenagers. Like I just don't think people who don't come from where we have come from, because I similar story, but if people who don't come from where we come from, they don't know that that's the calculus we have to engage in, day out. And there's a lot of cats, and I'm sure y'all going through the names and the faces, a lot of cats that got left behind or ain't no longer with us because they didn't realize the decisions that they needed to make and the things that they needed to not do, which is just as, if not as, more important.
Exactly.
So going through your high school year, D-Go, you get into high school. At what point do you realize that, oh man, I can play this game at a high level and I might have an opportunity to go Division I?
Honestly, bro, I'm gonna have to say like probably my junior year, man. Like I was good. Don't get it twisted. I was good all through my, Pop Warner and freshman year. I was nice, but you don't really start getting those letters, or you start getting people visiting you from them colleges until you damn near a junior almost. You know what I mean? I had a couple letters and stuff here as a sophomore, but when you start seeing physical coaches come and talk to you, as a kid, you watch football. You know what I'm saying? You watch football on TV, and we didn't have Man, that's another thing. In my community, we didn't have a lot of cats that made it out and came back, you know, and gave back to give us no inspiration of, you know, you can make it to the next level. It was just always Sunday. It was football on football Sundays. That's what we use our motivation as and motivation for. So when I started getting coaches coming visiting the schools and, you know, talking to me or, hey man, you're a good player, woo, 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 or even just local cats that grew up in the neighborhood that was, you know, whether they was OGs, bangers, or whatever the case is, and they used to come back and watch you play or praise you on your game and stuff like that. I mean, that as a kid was just like, it was motivating. So, I mean, I would have to say like my junior year when I had a lot of those coaches come back to the program, come to our school, visiting other people, but at the same time would stop in, the coach would pull me in like, hey man, you should see this guy. This guy's up. He's going to be a nice player. He's going to be a good player. You're going to see him playing on Sundays. Woo, woo, woo. And I always had this guy named Bobby Jose that was in my circle growing up as a kid. He was my Pop Warner coach. And he used to take me to the beach, bro, and work me out 5 o'clock in the morning as a kid, bro. As a kid. And he always saw something in me that I didn't. And he used to always put in my, man, you're going to be a hell of a player. He said, man, you remind me of this guy. You remind me of this guy. Then next thing you know, shit, scholarships start flowing in. You know, I start going to class finally. I'm taking my school serious. And man, I just honed in, man. I mean, like I said, I got a lot of notoriety just from my play on Friday nights, being in newspapers and stuff like that. And name got around and started getting that buzz.
And coming out of high school, did you go? I believe you went to junior college first, right?
I did. Just for the fact I didn't start going to school till my junior year, man. So I missed out on a lot of credits and a lot of classes. So I had to make up a lot of credits in summer school and off-campus schools and stuff like that, courses I had to do. And I ended up didn't qualifying in University of Washington. A lot of schools dropped me. UCLA, Wisconsin, SC, Oregon. I mean, I had all these schools that was on my corner, but then when they seen I wasn't qualified, they jumped off until Washington was in the picture, and they was actually recruiting one of my boys that was there, and they was interested in me too. So man, they kind of stuck with me, and they seen I wasn't qualified. They tried to get me to make up all these courses, and then it was like, look, if you have to go to junior college route, if I would have stayed at home, I wasn't gonna make it out with it. I'm gonna tell you straight up.
Probably not.
If I would stay here in LA and go community college, I wasn't gonna make it out.
I feel the same about the University of Miami. Miami was in my top 5. It was actually my number 2. Sean Taylor, Antrell Rowe, Jonathan Vilma were my hosts. Like they were pulling out all the stops trying to get me to come there. Sure. Something told me at 16, if you come to fucking Miami, you're finished. I'm telling you, I'm like, if you go to Miami at 16 from where you from, the neighborhood, you are finished. I'm like, you know what? Let me go home to the NCAA champion
brother,
Buckeyes.
I'm so glad you did that, but damn it, there's a part of me that wants you, Donte Whitner, to have played football and come through that entire experience. Like it's in some alternate universe, I need to see the Miami version of Donte Whitner.
I don't even know if he would be alive.
Wow.
I don't know if he would be alive. Or he
I'm assuming that you would make it through. You made those grown man decisions before. I'm assuming you're gonna make them decisions probably after making some mistakes. But in some alternate universe, I need to see that dude because I know he off the meat because you already off the chain. Miami quit. It's crazy.
Yeah, I would have been off the chain. I don't know if I would have. No, you guys wouldn't be able to handle that guy, man. That guy would have been.
I don't believe we would, bro. But to follow up, finish up, man. It was just like I said, Rick Neuheisel was the head coach at the time, man. He told me, man, about this junior college out in Kansas, and they was recruiting a cat out of there named Eddie Jackson or something at the time. And he was telling me about the school. It was a nice program, you know, good coaches, woo. I'm like, all right, bet, man. I went and checked it out. Went out there with my parents. Flew out there after I graduated high school. Went out there. I did graduate high school. Ended up going to the junior college, man. And I'm talking, my parents was there for a week, setting me up in my dorm and all of that. Man, when they left, boy, I cried like a baby, man. That place, I'm talking about, that community was so small. That place was so small. I'm talking in the Midwest. My first time ever encountering seeing Nazis, bro, was in Kansas, in Coffeyville, Kansas. was a great school though, great experience, man. Coach Jeff Liker had a couple coaches out there, man. Steve Spurlock, Dickie Rose, Cherrico, man. There was some great coaches out there, man. That gave me that right there humbled me and made me understand like I got to get out. You know what I'm saying? Now you can make this and you can get out. I end up going out there and being an MVP of the conference, won all kind of stuff over there, bro, and went back to Washington because they was the one who placed me there. I had letters from everywhere. I could have went to Miami, Florida, Oklahoma. I was almost going to Florida. Me and my boy, not Archie, but Jonathan Joseph at the time. He ended up going to and one of South Carolina, but we were all there. Me, him, Brandon Jacobs went to that school. Yep. That's how I met Brandon Jacobs out there in Coffeyville. Reggie Nelson, safety. A lot of them cats was out there, bro. Good program, but end up getting put on and going back to Washington after that.
It sounds like you needed that that isolation away from your original demographic, which I needed going to Ohio State, getting outside of the community, coming from an all Black community, and then my mom dropping me off at 16 years old because I was the second player to ever enter college early behind Maurice Claret. And that night she dropped me off, I cried like a baby too. I was in a foreign place around foreign people, and the Ohio State Buckeyes were coming off a national championship, and I was getting ready to go compete with them in winter conditioning and spring ball. And it was the scariest thing I ever had to do. The most isolated I've ever been in life, but it prepares you for the things that you fear and that you don't think you can overcome. And I remember some of the first nights in winter conditioning, I would call home at night because the shit was so fucking hard. I mean, I would throw up. They would call me, make sure you're gonna be here, Whitner. And I'm thinking to myself, like, can I fucking do this?
Right.
This is the hardest shit I've ever had to do. But as you stay there, you start to adapt to the community. You start to realize, like, oh, it's not that bad. And that's how I adapted at Ohio State. It sounds like you did the same with adapting out there. And where were you at?
Coffeyville, Kansas, man.
Coffeyville, Kansas. Can't even imagine.
Red Raven. And but you know what's crazy is too though, but it taught me so much, bro. I also learned about a lot of people. Like I wasn't exposed to a lot. Like being in LA, you would think, but yeah, I didn't know nothing about the South like that. Like all them Texas cats, and you know, I was going to school with cats from Memphis, St. Louis. I ain't meet nobody like that till I went out there. It was just I learned so much about their culture and you know how they get in. I met a friend out there in Kansas. He was from Kansas City, Missouri. My boy, Swoop, we call him Swoop, Robert Harris. He was one of my homies, man. He used to take me home with him on the weekends, and I got to meet his family and learn a lot about, you know, the Midwest and how they get down. But it was just, it was a culture shock to me. Because I ain't know nothing but L.A. in Jamaica. You know, my parents Jamaican. You know, I got a lot of people from New York, stuff like that. But outside of that, man, I ain't know nothing else about nothing. About nothing.
How was that Washington experience? What I love about this story is I love to hear that loyalty. You know, you mentioned you go all the way out there to Kansas. You settle in. You eventually start getting out there and getting right with the football. And next thing you know, you're getting offers from other schools that are looking to take advantage of you going to that junior college in Kansas. For you to say, no, I'm going to stick with the folks that got me to this point, Rick Newhouse in Washington. Obviously, that says a lot about you just from a personal standpoint. But how was that experience in Washington? Because I will assume, even though you had the Kansas experience behind you, that L.A. to Washington trip is a real trip if you hadn't been there before.
No, it was definitely another turning point. It was some other cats. I mean, Washington was cool because they recruited a lot of LA guys. So it was a lot of LA people in that school in LA, San Diego. So it was a lot there, but at the same time, it was just different. Now the structure was different, right? Yeah. You in a D1 program, you got to be up. Workout starts 6 o'clock. You got to be ready, dressed, ready to go. You got classes right after that. I just went through a whole 2-3 hour workout. Now I got to go sit in class and listen to a professor without falling asleep and doing my work and all. So it was the transition was tough, man. I'm not gonna lie. And then the weather was different. Like being in Kansas, I was able to see snow, heat, and all that. When it was hot, it's hot. When it's cold, it was cold. But then now I'm driving now. I'm in the university. I'm driving. It's snowing. I'm not going to school, bro. Somebody gonna have to take me to school. I'm not going to school. I'm talking about they broke the straight. I think it was, and rain. It was so rainy too, man. I think it broke the record of straight consecutive days of rain of like 30-something days, 40 days, something like that, man. It was crazy. I've never seen nothing like that. But under those conditions too, like LA, you know what I'm saying, to that kind of weather, all that played a factor, man. But my experience was great. Like I said, like I was, and to piggyback Rod what you said, like, yeah, that school placed me there. I seen they gave me an opportunity. They gave me an opportunity to better myself, and I learned a lot. That experience alone, like I was grateful for. So, yeah, it was only right for me to go back to that school, and it was another reason why I wanted to go back to, man, because I wanted to play against USC. USC, man, they came off, they fell off on me, right? When I was local cat, that was the program. LA, you going to USC? Everybody wanted to go to USC, right? And then I got to junior college. They fell off. They dropped me in high school, and they came back when I was in junior college, like a week before signing day, junior college signing day, like in December or something like that. And they came back because I'm telling they started heavy on me. They flew out there the week before signing. Oh man, we want you to come on and visit, blah 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 blah. And the reason why, and I found out the reason why they was really so heavy pressing because the cat they was recruiting before me that they really wanted got in trouble. He went to jail or something like that. So now they trying to come back and get me. Oh man, when I found that out, I was like, oh yeah, this ain't gonna happen. I used that trip. I ended up using them on that trip to bring all my stuff back home from Kansas. Brought all my shit back home from Kansas. Went on the trip. It was cool. I knew a lot of those cats already. I'm Lindell White.
Yeah.
Chauncey Washington was my host. I mean, I ran into Matt Lyon and all them cats. Herschel Dennis was my boy since Pop Warner. So, man, I knew a lot of those guys, but they was trying to take me all these places. I like, man, no, I don't want to go. And I used that trip. I was chilling with the fam, my homeboys. I even doing none of the visit stuff. I knew I wasn't going there. I wanted to go back to Washington so I could see them cats. Right?
Hey, what Mike Jones said back then, they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They're all over.
Exactly. Right? I'm like, so they dropped me in high school. Then you try to get back online because your homeboy that you really wanted at my position ended up going to jail. So now you're, oh no, I'm cool.
Yeah.
So man, but yeah, man, I knew all along though I wanted to go back to Washington just for the simple fact that they really they stuck with me. They built out a program, let me know all these classes I had to go back to make up, and what it's going to take for me to qualify and get there. Even though I didn't, they put a ticket up on themselves to really find somewhere where I can go. And get another opportunity to go back to their school. So
that's dope.
Man, I took awesome. That. Yeah, that was dope with them, man. I went back there, man. That was a great experience. Met some cool people, and to this day, man, I still got some love. I still got love for the dub.
So from high school to junior college, from junior college to Washington, you build a reputation for yourself at Washington, and then you get drafted by the San Francisco 49ers. What were your draft day experiences like when the San Francisco 49ers called you, and how were those early years in San Francisco?
Man, what's funny is draft day. So I had I trained. You think about so my last year, my senior year, I ended up doing some stupid shit during off season. Man, I had just transitioned from safety. They moved me to corner, like my senior year, and this coach just thought it was a good idea because he was at Cal before. He coached Nnamdi Asomugha, and he thought it was a good. Nnamdi actually went to my high school too, but he also thought it was a good idea for me. 6'2", good feet. He's like, man, I think you need to be playing corner. I'm like, shit, I ain't tripping. Let's do it. I've been playing safety all my life, but I always worked out as a corner, just doing a lot of footwork, backpedaling and stuff. It's kind of the same shit you do as a safety, But he just saw me as a corner. Off season, one time playing basketball, bro. We used to play with the basketball players and the local cats around the neighborhood or the general population at the school. And the IMA, man, went up for a dunk or something and came back and rolled my ankle, tore my ankle up bad. This is spring ball, during spring ball. I'm balling. I'm having a hell of a spring. I'm about to be the punt returner. But I'm working out with track coaches, my speed up. I'm like, like it's about to be a breakout year for me. I'm in there playing basketball. I go up, come down, landed on somebody's foot, tore my ankle up. They told me it was so bad I was better off breaking it because I ruptured a lot of tendons in my ankle and all of that. This is my senior year, bro. So I'm tripping like, man, I'm done. So my whole senior year, bro, I played 4 or 5 games. So the first couple of games, I couldn't even practice. Every time I practiced, like my ankle was sore and swollen to the point to where I couldn't even play. So I had to get shot every week, bro. I had to take a shot every week just to get through a football game. So my first couple of weeks, I wasn't even able to play. They used to suit me up just because of my senior year. Then there was one game we played against Arizona, and one of the corners had got hurt or got down. And it was on the sideline panicking, like, hey, we need a DB. Man, I darted out there. Man, went out there, bro. I'm talking about I played probably like 10 snaps and had about 4 PBUs, bro. I wanted a top, I forgot the receiver, that fast kid from Arizona. He had number 10. I remember number 10. I don't remember his name. Texas cat. But locked him up, had a good game. That was my first game. I only played probably about 10 snaps. The second week, we about to play SC. So, I wasn't finna let that slide. That's when they had Steve Smith, Wayne Jarrett, what's his name? Dwayne Jarrett, that number 8, the tall receiver they had at the time. I was like, bro, this is my opportunity. It's my opportunity. This is my senior year. This is only my second game. This is against USC. It's televised, all that. So I'm like, bro, I got to go out here. I got to play this game. Man, I'm doing everything I can. I spent most of that's how I learned about football a lot, bro. I had this guy named Phil Snow that really taught me a lot about the game and how to break down film. So my whole senior year, really, I'm just staying in the office. That's where I got my reps from, was with the coach. You know what I'm saying? Watching practice and watching just game tape because I couldn't practice. Man, I went out there and balled. Man, I had a hell of a game that game. And I think that game alone put me on the map. So I feel like that game and the games after that really just set me up for that draft. I couldn't even work out during the draft as much because my ankle was so messed up. I knew I wasn't going to run a fast 40. Because my agent at the time was like, man, you got to show them that you able to run at least, I'm like, all right, bet. So I was training and shit. Finally, got drafted where I was at. I was surprised, but I was a little upset because in the cats that got drafted before me, I knew they couldn't fuck with me, bro. I knew they couldn't. They wouldn't. They wouldn't. They got drafted pretty good. I'm not taking nothing away from them, but I just figured that I was gonna go first day. End up going second day. Now I'm watching the first day of the draft. Watch the first couple rounds. I'm laying in the bed. Whatever morning that was, just chilling. I wasn't even watch. I was watching the draft back and forth, flicking between that and the movie I was watching on HBO. I wasn't even watching the draft no more because I didn't get go the first day, and a couple guys go. I was like, man, I'm cool. I'm watching the movie. Here come my dad come downstairs like, hey, the phone. I'm like, who? He's like, San Francisco. I'm like, what? Boom. That's when I got on the phone. I'm watching HBO. He's like, yeah, we're getting ready to pick you right now. I'm shuffling through the TV. Sometimes you laying in the bed, you can't find a remote. I'm trying to find a remote in the covers and shit. I'm like, what? Turn the TV off finally, man. And that's when they see my name go across that ticker. 4th round. Who was it? Coach Mike Nolan at the time was on the phone, called me. With wasn't Jed, it was Dr. York at the time. He had the team. It was before Jed took over and all of that. But he was just excited about me coming. I was excited to get there. I was, at the time, as a kid, you always thought about playing in the NFL. It didn't really hit me till I got there, though. It didn't even hit me, bro. Like, I've never been to an NFL football game. My first NFL football game was me running out of that tunnel for the preseason game.
Wow.
First NFL game was me running out of the tunnel for a preseason game. So, I dealt with so much, man. I had surgeries on my shoulders, bro, in college. I tore my ankle up my senior year. So I had dealt with so many injuries and setbacks to where I felt like me getting drafted 4th round was all God's work, bro. It was all God's plan. Because I couldn't see myself. Like I said, my first year I got in there, I had surgery at UW. My second year, I tore my other shoulder up. I had surgery that year. So my off seasons was horrible, bro. I didn't have no good off season to really train and get, get my body right and all that. Then I tore my ankle up my senior year. So to get drafted where I got drafted, I was just blessed. I was honored, And
so then you come into the league and you're dealing with so many injuries. You're a 4th round draft pick, which means you're a prospect that's in a developmental phase that they're thinking in the front office. You get to San Francisco. What were those early years like? Were you a starter? When did you become a starter? And then when did you finally realize, like, oh shit, I could do this at a high level in the league?
So when I got there, I was definitely running with probably the 3s or the 4s at the time. Safety gave me number 38. Didn't even think about changing my number. I was just like, man, I ain't tripping. Got there. I was able to get drafted with Terrell Brown. Terrell Brown was out there training with me in LA. So I mean, we was cool. We was locked in ever since then. But we was just always talking about. We was roommates when we got there, like for training camp, all season stuff like that. So we was always talking about like our upcomings and all that stuff. But that year, uh, ended up running with the threes and the fours. But I was in a system at UW that was kind of the same system at Washington. I mean, at San Fran. With the coaching staff, it was running quarter halves, running quarters, man, safety. Man, I got drafted. I got drafted as a safety to go to San Francisco. Coming up, being a corner in UW, they drafted me as a safety. So all of that stuff. I mean, I was already locked in, and I felt like I was so ahead of a lot of the people just for the simple fact that I learned and I broke down film so much. I learned how to watch film because I couldn't practice, and then I played both positions. I played safety and corner, so I already knew a lot of the do's and the don'ts. It was just a terminology I had to get equipped to. I had to get down, and the biggest thing one of the coaches always say was, you won't see the field unless you know how to anticipate. So that was the biggest thing too, right? So we'll have double call, we'll have call. So when a motion happened or a split, you see receiver split, you right now, or what they can get into, you have to be able to spit that out. So, and that was something I had struggled with my first year. But my second year, man, I had got it down, and I thought I was gonna be able to start because I had a hell of an off season. I'm talking about making plays. Even the preseason, that for my rookie year, I was on pace to being a rookie year. They did a little rookie of the year stuff like that. But I ended up tearing my elbow up, man, making a tackle on Justin Fargas, Raiders game. Ended up making a tackle and my arm got caught between his leg or something. And I had a hyperextended, so I missed my last 2 preseason games in the first couple of weeks, the first 2 weeks maybe. But then coming into the league, you never know about special teams. They don't hurt special teams like that in college as much. When you just start a player or whatever the case is, you don't think about special teams. But they was always talking about the special team. You ain't gonna see the field unless you starting on special teams and you backing up. So I made it an effort to learn how to play special teams. And that's how I really started seeing the field. I don't think I was even my rookie year. I played every special team. Played every special team. I was a backup safety. I didn't really see the field as much. I played a little bit my rookie year when somebody went down, but I just graded out higher on all the special teams. That was
So your third year was the year you finally started in the league?
Yep. Because Coach Singletary was the coach at the time. He was the interim coach the third year. The third year he became the head coach, and he knew how I was balling. He see my whole offseason. He called me in my offseason like, "Hey man, you're gonna be my starting safety. You ready?" I'm like, "You already know." So I went in there, man. My off season was crazy, boy. I was working out, training. I couldn't wait to get back to the damn San Fran. When I got in there, bro, I'm just balling out, bro. Having a hell of a spring. I'm having a hell of a training camp, preseason, season hit. Now I'm balling out. Then I started getting. But my off seasons was so crazy with, like, I did so much, man. I'm talking about from beach workouts, not basketball, boxing, MMA. And then I was training, boy. And I felt like all of that started paying off when I got down there.
Yeah, and I remember during free agency that year, we were both free agents at the same time. We're going to get to the good shit now. We're going to get to the 2011 after losing a lot of games in fucking Buffalo, losing a lot of games in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. New coaching staff comes in. I commit to the Cincinnati Bengals, 0 loyalty. I decommit, and then I go to San Francisco. And I remember the first day I saw you, you were dealing with a holdout. We were having like a walkthrough or some shit, and you walked across the field. I was unfamiliar with the game, where you came from, any of those things. Right. And I remember we didn't speak because I think you thought I was coming there to play your position, when in reality we were being positioned to play with each other.
Right.
And
to clear that up, I think I just didn't speak because I wasn't a friendly cat. I was never friendly. You know what I'm saying? That had nothing to do with you in my position. So
man, we playing 50 together, man. It's like, man, what's up, man? My name is Dashon Goldson. Well, we understand that because of the way you played on the field. But then I think you thought that I was coming to play the same position. We were in the same situation. You were on a 1-year deal, franchise tag, I believe. And I signed a 3-year deal, which was a little bit longer. But then this is when the good shit happened. We assembled that team, the Carlos Rogers, myself, you, Pat, Navarro was young, Chris Culliver, Terrell Brown on the other side. We eventually get Alden Smith, Ahmad Brooks, Justin Smith. And what the people really want to hear out there, they want to know why the fuck did we play the game the way we played it? Why did we intimidate a lot of them motherfuckers the way that we intimidated them? And the goal behind it. The goal to me was to have them motherfuckers mentally defeated long before we touch the field. When you watch that field and watch that tape of us lame motherfuckers out there, and you a wide receiver or a tight end running back, and
At
you know
that
that
point,
you have 6 days to watch that shit, and then Sunday you got to feel that shit. We had you
I'm telling you,
defeated before we even played you.
bro. At that point, we was playing against coordinators. The receivers wasn't even a factor. Those coordinators was when we was playing against because they had to modify their whole game plan. Because them boys wasn't trying to run them kind of routes. They knew what time it was when they crossed them enemy lines. That was the biggest thing. I think shit. Me and Will was shit before game. We just try to figure out how we gonna see their number two, who their backup was. You know what I'm saying? We want to know
Absolutely.
who their number two is. Let's get him some reps.
Absolutely.
I'm saying our mindset was just different. Like he was saying, like I didn't know nothing about wit, but I learned pretty fast, man. I thought he came in there with with some good leadership qualities, and at the same time, he was just a athlete. He was a hell of an athlete. He was fast. He was strong. He was smart. I'm talking about his notepad. That boy being in that meeting. His notepad.
We're gonna
You still
keep
got
that
all them
motherfucker
notes?
full.
You still got all them notes? Boy, he used to
Hell
jot
yeah,
down
we got to know what the
everybody. He
fuck we
bring it
doing
right
out here.
down to a
Somebody got
T.
to know what the fuck we doing.
But
You
that was
know,
made our
somebody
room
got to
so
know.
special, bro. That was made our room so special because we had cats that was locked in, to that. And at the same time, our coaches trust us because we seen something on film that we wanted to play or how we wanted to play it. Like Donatello, like, all right, he'll try to say some shit, be like, no, we'll see, we'll see how it
Okay,
work
if you
out.
see it fit like that, then go ahead. You got
Right,
it.
straight up,
That's the ultimate trust from a defensive back coach
man,
and a
that part, and I
defensive
think that was
coordinator.
a lot of our success too because they trusted us in our room, man, to get a lot of stuff done.
And then
Here's what I love. Here's what I love. Because knowing Donte over these few years and working together, I know how detail oriented
Exactly.
Donte is, and
Facts.
how and his notes. Like I've seen him. I know exactly what you're talking about, Dashon. And it wasn't even about football. It was about football, but it was television and in media. But I want to go back to what you said before, where you had that situation where you messed up your ankle in college. And then you got in that film room, you got with those coaches, and that's how you learned the game. And see, I didn't know that. But when I hear that, and I'm like, well, that's why you two got along so well on the field and why you two are still tight well after your playing days, because y'all both approached the game, even if it was different circumstances, but y'all both approached the game from the same way. I need to know what's happening. I need to be dialed in mentally. And then once I have that, my physical gifts and what I want to present out there from a physical standpoint, knocking folks out, I can do that because I have full command of what I'm trying to do, what we're trying to do defensively. You two guys are basically the same in how you see the game mentally and in how you played the game physically. That's why y'all fit. That's why y'all still boys to this day.
Are you right about that, right? Like I said, like honestly, to this day, like if anybody asks me who was one of the guys that you can trust, not even just trust, who I wouldn't rather go to war with nobody besides with this man. For the simple fact that I knew he was gonna be prepared. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even about, we never talked about goals, like how many interceptions we gonna get, how many tackles. It was just our preparation during the week that was gonna get us that edge every week. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, to go to war, for me to say that, it says a lot because I play with a lot of guys, man. I play with a lot of guys, especially at that position. But I knew what Whit was going to bring every week. You know what I'm saying? I knew he was going to be mentally prepared and physically. He was going to be on the same mindset and the same time frame, on the same frame of mind that I was going to be on. And I was to knock a motherfucker out.
And I remember,
But no, D, because I want to make this about you for a second. So, working with Donte on TV, I knew Donte the football player, but we had never worked together before.
I would never saw him
And
on TV, but
oh man, he was the best.
but he
And
good
so like,
though.
oh, he's good. And so
Yeah.
I know football. I understand football, but Donte knows it obviously on a molecular level. And I knew working with Donte Whitner that I had to make sure that I was prepared. Because
right.
if I went up there talking some nonsense, Donte rightfully was going to call me out. Not off the air, but also on the air. So you want to talk about notes and after Donte, all these notes right here.
Exactly.
Hang on. 2 more notepads right here. These are from the seasons that we worked together because I knew I had to be on my shit sitting next to somebody in Donte Whitner who was on his shit.
Exactly. So I mean, I don't know if he knew, but he made me a better player. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be time.
Made me better at my job.
Exactly.
But you want to know what you gave me, Dashon?
Exactly.
In Buffalo, I gave a fuck too much.
Mm-hmm.
So when we got on the field together, and even the way you just walked across and you hit somebody, just walk back, I'm like, oh, I give a fuck too much. So once we started to play together, I stopped to give a fuck. I didn't care about fines. I didn't care about hitting you helmet to helmet. I didn't give a fuck about nothing. It was like, you throw this ball in this area, somebody has to pay for this. And I remember what you said during the New Orleans Saints game. Once Pierre Thomas came, whack, and I whacked him and the ball came out, and you walked up, you said, motherfucker, that's how you hit. That's how you hit. And I'm like, oh shit, it's actually an amazing thing that we'll never feel ever again. It's just that momentum and that type of adrenaline rush that you feel. What was your favorite hit of mine? And I'm gonna give you my favorite hit of yours.
Damn, boy, you had so many. I might have to say that Pierre Thomas hit right in that playoff because that shit set the tone for the rest of the fucking playoff and especially that game. Like bro, if you go back and just watch that play, I don't know where he came from out of that backfield or what, but to see Witt line him up and he just came through like a missile, he just shot out. Wow. I'm talking about dude went to sleep before he hit the ground. That shit hyped me up, got me so hyped. And I think everybody, the whole stadium, after that, it was just like, it was curtain because he had another hit after that. I don't know if you remember hitting, what's the tight end name?
Jimmy Graham knocked him out. We knocked all them motherfuckers from the Saints out. You broke Marcus Colston's neck over the middle in New Orleans. I picked the ball off, running back for a touchdown. You remember the slant from the little slot receiver?
Oh, I couldn't stand
when you hit him and I hit him, he fumbled.
Yes,
we knocked every one of their fucking skilled players out, and guess what? We weren't intentionally doing it. It was just the way we played. We didn't have to put any bounties on anybody. The bounty was fucking natural. I have 2 plays of yours that I remember.
Being in the right place at the right time. We knew
right time, anticipation, breaking 1/3 the distance, the ball in the air. You got to lower it like you squatting, and I'm going to go through your motherfucking chin strap. It's going to be
another one of my favorites, though, but it wasn't even a hit. It was a play. I don't think I played that game because I had messed my knee up. So I was missed the first 2 games of my that first year you came in was against Cowboys when you ran that boy down and hawked him at the 1-2 yard line.
Oh yeah, we lost in overtime. That's when we realized that we were going to be a good team because they were projected to be Super Bowl champions that year, and we took them all the way to the wire. And we actually absorbed that confidence and then went on to win like 8 or 9 games in a row. My 2 plays from you is the early Doucette versus the Arizona Cardinals.
That was
running a shallow route. That fucking quarterback set that motherfucker up. He see you right there, and you just
I don't know if he did.
And you can see Carlos Rogers' face. He walk up and he looking at you like this. He like, I can't believe you just laid that motherfucker out. And the way he land there, he was literally on a stretcher.
But I owe his ass
literally
that because he cost me 25 G's the game before that.
Oh yeah, because you punched him in the face.
Yeah, we had a play when he smacked me in my head. I'm like, who this nigga is? And that's when I got up. I hesitated at first, like, what? And I just took off. Boom, boom.
Boom, boom. I remember that.
You know, I got $25,000 fine. And then that same game that I had laid him out, I'm in the pregame. You know me, I ain't even talking to him. I'm worried. I'm like, I got my headphones on. I'm mopping. I'm running around the field, jogging, doing my little pre-warm up. And he come up to me like, hey, man. Like trying to be friendly. Hey, man, you You got me fined. You cost me $10,000. I said, well, you cost me 25, and you're gonna pay for it today.
Absolutely. And that motherfucker paid for it. That's a highlight
Yeah,
that's
you
out there
cost me.
forever. My
Yo.
second favorite is we went to New England. Tom Brady, the quarterback, Aaron Hernandez, the tight end. We jump up on their ass early. I force the fumble, you get it, run it back down in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
And then a play comes where Tom Brady tries to force the ball into Aaron Rodgers, and you coming over from the backside, clean hit. You
Not Aaron
smack
Rodgers. You
Aaron
talking about
Hernandez, his head hit
man.
the ground, and then you do the
Over.
hawk symbol. I do it with you. It's
Right
called
over him,
picture.
though. Right
And
over
guess
him.
what? When I get up and I walk over there, he's in Dashon's face like, I'll smoke you, fool. I said, Dashon, that motherfucker sound like he meant that shit. And then come out years later, we see what it came out to be. That's
Hell
another
yeah.
one of my favorite hits. And I think you got fined 21,000 for that too, right?
That hit. No, I don't. Did I get hit mine? No, I don't think I got fined for that hit. Mm-mm. I didn't get fined for that hit. The crazy part is though, with nigga, all them hits that we was like kids, I didn't really get fined till I left. So I made that bread, and they started finding me in Tampa. When I went to Tampa, that's when they started finding my. But shit, I didn't get fined. I was getting fined for socks and
So
shirts.
can we take credit for getting the rules changed because of how
Definitely,
many fools we knocked out back there
that's
together?
what it was. No, seriously, it was like we got to do something about this. But that was the biggest thing though. Like after games, I think the biggest pat on the back, like players would be like, players won't give you much credit. But when you got a coordinator or a defensive guy, defensive coordinator, or offensive coordinator, or position coach coming to you after the game, look for you, find you, like, hey man, you a hell of a player, man. We had man, you a hell of a player, or man, we had to do so much, we couldn't run a lot of our plays because you two back there. Like that
We
was
had
one
to
of the
protect our
I was
players.
get as a football player. Like I ain't care
Yeah.
about no accolades. You can pro, all that stuff was cool, and that was never a goal of mine. But when a player or an ex-player, will come up to you and find you after the game and be like, man, you a hell of a player, or we couldn't do nothing with y'all today. But we had to figure out what, because guys wouldn't want to run certain routes. So offensive coordinators had to figure out a different game plan, or they receivers going to be banged, don't be hurt.
So when you think back to our time in San Francisco, we had some highs, we had some lows.
Mm-hmm.
The lows were the two NFC championship losses.
Mm-hmm.
The one specifically to the
That
New
shit came
York
on.
Giants.
That shit came on the other day on TV. I was watching it, bro.
Absolutely. And then the Super Bowl loss. I specifically remember you saying, because when Pat was on the show, the last time we were talking about the Super Bowl, we were talking about how the shit was going so fast. We couldn't catch our breath. We were missing calls. We were
Uh-huh.
forgetting things. We weren't playing like we were accustomed to playing. And I remember you specifically walking over like, not today, y'all. Not today. We got to get this shit right. We can't play like this today. What?
Because we knew. I felt like we was prepared. I'm not even gonna say psychologically. We prepared game plan wise. Like I think we knew what to expect. We knew what we was gonna get. I just think everybody took their turn fucking up. Whether it's a contain, like holding the outside, or whatever the case is, they extended so many plays and they ran stuff that we knew was coming. And it was like I thought that's when I was like, man, not today, bro. We can't go out like this. We made all this time. We did all that shit we did during the season, postseason. And when we get to the Super Bowl, now we taking turns fucking up. Everybody fucking up. So yeah, that was me just trying to get everybody to settle down, because it was like, man, just play our game. We don't need no Superman. You ain't gotta do nothing outside of your skill set to do anything extra. Just do what you coach to do. Do what you need to do, bro. We gonna come out of this game.
And
And
that
we start.
segues right into the next topic is the current state of the 49ers. I'm pretty sure you've been watching from afar.
Mm-hmm.
The Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks right now control the division. Seattle probably is going to win the Super Bowl. How do you feel about the current state of the 49ers, and what changes do they need to make so that they can compete with those teams?
I mean, the current state, man. I mean, it's I had the opportunity to work with that team in 2023, bro. And I think, man, Kyle's a great coach, though. I think he's a really good coach. His philosophy is good. Um, the thing that didn't get us through, I feel, was how can I put? Let me just say leadership. They didn't have a group of core guys that really. I don't know how much football really meant to certain people. Like they were good, they were very talented, good fucking football team. Don't get me wrong, but the thing that I felt that was different between us, we enjoyed football with. Like we enjoyed being around each other. I mean, with some cats that whatever the case is, if they didn't get along, whatever. We didn't even have that many guys that didn't get along. Like we was a good football team. It was a good football team. We had guys that really loved the sport, was successful in other spots, but when we came to our common goal, they knew what it was. Like we put team before self. Put it like that. We put team before self. And I felt like this day and age, these guys are so worried about game day, how they gonna look, they clothes and things of that nature. It's like, bro, you about to go out here and put your life on the line. You worried about how you look walking into the stadium? Like that's how I feel like how I look at the game now is totally different, bro. So
So what do you think they need to do when we're watching the defense? Let's just narrow it down to
I
the
know I'm going
defense.
off topic. It's just because
Let's just narrow it down to the defense. What would you like to see them do on defense to get back to those dominant 49er defenses that we've seen from the past?
one, stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the biggest things. I don't know what these cats doing in their off season. You can't rely on a team to get you in shape and shit like that. Like your off season, you got to come in ready. You got to come in. That I feel like that during the season, all the other shit is to maintain and to peak at a certain time. So your off season got to be good. And as far as the defense, I think they just get a couple guys, man. Probably a couple more pieces. Offense, man, just need a couple more. They need a couple more pieces. They need another receiver. And a receiver, like you said, I think I heard you say something about it. The receiver that's gonna stretch the field. You know what I'm saying? They keep that box a little light, and all they gotta do is they ain't threatening on the outside. So they gonna load the box up and they're gonna load the box up and try to stop that run every time. And then shit, you dealing with a back that had some injuries, so ain't no telling how healthy he was. You have to get somebody else the ball. You got to keep a load off and keep him fresh as possible. I know you got, he's a franchise, player and all that, but it's like, I mean, there's only so much he could do. Like, get him, let him go in there, try to keep him fresh as possible. Get somebody else in there that can, hold it down.
You know what I was thinking though, and what I've been thinking about with the 49ers and their personnel? And when I look at the LA Rams and the Seattle Seahawks and the way that they're built up front and in the trenches, I think it's time for the 49ers to get away from the safe draft picks. The guys
Safe.
who they're easy to control in the locker room, guys who the environment really
And I
is
started seeing that
conducive
towards the
with
end
the
of my
way that they
year,
act. It's
end of my
time to
career.
go and get some guys
Some dogs.
literally from the inner city, from the
Hell yeah.
Ohio States, the Georgias, like the Philadelphia Eagles did. And if you want to control that environment, put it on the player development part. You need to go and get some guys that have some off-field issues. You need to get some guys that have some anger issues. You need to get some guys that refuse not to be great football players. Yeah, it's great to get the Iowa States, the Iowas, the BYUs, and the Stanfords and the Harvards. But man, we need to go and get some dogs. And that's what it's going to take to compete. So I've been thinking about that all week. And when I was looking at this NFC Championship, I'm like, that's the difference. They got guys up front that halfway got issues mentally. And that's what we had. We had a bunch of guys that literally, Dashon, had something off with them.
Oh, for
sure. Harbaugh knew how to control the environment.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of that was just us too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, we hung out together. So it ain't like everybody just, did football and go about their own ways. But yeah, they had their own lives, but at the same time, like we used to go out together. Harbaugh did some cool things when he came in, some team activities, we had to and he set the tone by going to all the tables. Sometimes we'd be eating at lunch. He'll come sit down with you. You know what I'm saying, Rod? He'll come sit down with you and talk to you and just vibe with you. So he created that culture where he kind of made us understand a team. Like he was building a brotherhood. Like we had to learn each other. We had to learn each other, where we come from, stuff like that. We put teams and stuff together when we did all these little activities, where it's movies or these little arcades. whatever it was. I thought he did a good job at that, and that was a lot. That was a difference in a lot of teams that I've been a part of, whether it's coach or been on. It was the aspect of the brotherhood. So a lot of teams, they don't fuck with each other. They're not cool with each other. They got their own little pocket of 2-3 guys they hang with and they do their thing. You ain't never gonna win no championship like that.
A big
Unless
problem
y'all
for the
tight as a
49ers
team.
have been the injuries, Dashon. The injuries have been a big issue. The
For sure.
power plant next to the 49ers practice facility has been consistently brought up as to why they're having injuries. How you feel
Yeah.
about that?
I mean, I don't get into all of that. I mean, it could be. I don't know. Shit, I'm not a scientist. I don't know nothing about that. I know I played.
They ain't
6
scientists
years.
either. That don't stop them from saying it.
Yeah, I played 6 years there, bro. I didn't, I wasn't even. My mind wasn't even on that. With honestly, I ain't know nothing about that fucking power plant. I knew there was some shit going on over there, but I wasn't even on that. I'll come and do my work, get
Yeah,
up
and we
on it, and get
practiced
up out of
there.
there.
We practiced hard there. We didn't
Hell
have
yeah.
10% of the injuries that they have. So
Nah,
I'm debunking that conspiracy that the power plant is the reason for the 49ers having injuries.
that's
You
bullshit.
remember Uwe? You
Excuses.
remember Uwe?
Hell yeah, I remember Uwe.
What's Uwe's last name?
Uwe Yamato something. I don't remember his last
Well,
name.
he was the best trainer I've ever been
Uwe
trained by.
Yamamoto. Uwe. Yeah. Something like
It's
that.
something. Uwe something.
Uwe was a
But
dog. He was
Uwe,
nice. And he took
he
his
was
shit
nice.
serious, bro. He took
If
his
the
job
49ers
serious.
really want to make big changes and stop getting injured, you have to call Uwe. Uwe will come in and change the whole system. I promise you, guys will be bigger, faster, stronger, more durable. The injuries will decrease, and they will play at a level that we haven't seen around here since the hardball years. I promise you.
Yeah, it has something to do with that weight room too. I'm telling you. We had guys like what they make is like 2-3 days. You had to work out or something. We had guys
Squatting
4 or 5 days.
525 in the playoffs.
Day after the game. I'm talking about you got
Yeah,
cats on a Monday in there 5-6 plates squatting, power,
squatting.
like you know what I'm saying, like keeping
That
that strength.
translates to the
Your
football
body
field.
break down, bro. Your body break down. If you ain't utilizing that weight room, you ain't gonna sustain. So it depends on what you're doing. What you got going on up in there for sure. That's gonna help you.
So going around the league, there's only one more game left, but let's reflect on last week's games. The Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. I felt like the Los Angeles Rams let that game get away from them. I felt like they had many opportunities. Smith fumbling, that punt return. It was just looked like they need to investigate him for gambling.
Come on, dog.
I'm serious.
Come on.
Like, man, just get out the fucking way.
No,
If you don't feel like you can,
you're right about that. You're right about
hey,
that.
get
If
out
you
the way,
falling
let it
backwards,
bounce.
don't try to catch it. Yeah.
Exactly. Like they need to investigate him for gambling. But the Seattle Seahawks, they earned it. They've been playing well all year. How did you feel about that game? The New England Patriots, and who do you foresee becoming the Super Bowl champions this year?
I'm gonna start off by saying my pick, how I see fit. I think Seattle will be winning that Super Bowl, bro. The Rams did let that game get out of hand. I felt like it was a couple things they could have done, or a couple catches they could have made. They could have bailed Stafford out a couple times, but Seattle, bro, they defense they playing lights out, man. They got some good DBs. They front seven is crucial. That D line is nice.
They're really good.
Yeah, they've been playing lights out all year. The Patriots, I mean, they shocked me. I didn't know they was gonna go that far. I mean, that quarterback is playing good. I just don't see them beating Seattle with Stephon Diggs and Brunette, whatever her boy name is, number 9. And I'm not good with names, but I think Seattle gonna definitely take it, bro. They playing good football, boy. They communicate, they fly around, they fly to the ball. That game with the Broncos and the Patriots, I thought Patriots would have scored a lot more. Just watching that game, I'm like, I don't see y'all beating Seattle playing like that. Although, they just had a good year and all that, I just don't see it.
I've been itching to
defense.
ask you guys about Seattle and particularly their DBs because it seemed to me they play a lot of man. And if you have guys who can beat man coverage and a tight end that can win in man coverage, like you can get them. And the Rams, because they have Adams, because they have Nakua, and I forget their tight end, like they have those 3 guys, and you see how the Rams were able to score. I think about the Niners when they were healthy. when Pearsall, 4 catches for, I think, 108, 110 yards, he's their man beater. When Kittle was healthy for the little bit of that first game, he had a touchdown. I don't know if the Patriots, outside of Stephon Diggs, I don't know if they have enough guys who can win in man coverage and get to that secondary to make those guys really work. Because I think what you're going to end up seeing is what they did against the Niners the last 2 games, which is they have 5-6 DBs out there. They're all within 10, 15 yards of the line of scrimmage and not worried about anything getting by them. And then they just run around and tackle and run support.
Well, when I'm looking at it, and when I looked at that game, Seattle's defensive backs on the outside, the corners didn't play that well. Witherspoon looked erratic. He looked like he was too juiced up, like he took too much energy drink before the game. He was doing all types of shit. And then Tariq Woolen, he got beat for 2 touchdowns and got the personal foul and damn near lost the game for them. So the New England Patriots, because I really do like Drake May, and I do like McDaniels as the offensive coordinator, and their offensive line's playing well, and they can run the football. So if they can run the football, slow down that pass rush, I think that they can actually feast on those corners on the outside. And when you look at the New England Patriots defense, man, them boys like flies on shit, man.
It's a good
and them boys picking shit off. They getting pass breakups. I like that New England Patriots defense, and they have a lot of guys that you really haven't heard a lot about mainstream on that defensive line who are really like, some of the best in the league. So I'm going to go with the New England Patriots. I need the New England Patriots to beat Seattle to get them off my ass. They've been on my ass.
To be fair, you kind of been on their ass too, particularly one person. So
yeah. We've been on his ass. Nobody's safe. That's what I want to know out there. Nobody's safe. We're not taking personal shots.
That's what you should be calling the podcast. Nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe.
Nobody's motherfucking safe. And I believe that that's going to do it for us today, guys, for episode 22 of the Great Code Podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, X, Instagram, and TikTok. And be sure to tune in each and every week. And from myself, Dashon Goldson, and Rod Brooks, remember, it's not just a code, but a way of life.